This morning, our very special guest, our friend Matt Buckwalter, is here. He's the head of school at Linville Hill Christian School. Good morning.
Good morning.
Anybody want to say hi to?
Yeah, I'd like to shout out my wife, Naomi, and our three youngest at home, Destiny, Isabella, and Mercy. Also, our leadership team from Linville Hill and our seniors who just graduated. They're celebrating this week, so shout out to all those folks.
So you were finished with school on Friday?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It feels great.
Yeah. And so you had a graduation. Your graduation ceremony? Was that on Friday as well?
It was Thursday evening.
Thursday, okay.
We sent out 30 seniors, amazing young people telling a great story, and we're just so pumped for what God's doing in their lives.
That's amazing. Linville Hill. Tell everybody where you're located.
So our high school is located in Gap. Our elementary school is just up the road in Paradise, but right there on that southeastern side of the county. So that's where we call home.
And I know that your school has been in the news a lot lately because of sports.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Yeah, we had a great year this year. Our girls volleyball team went to the state championship game. They finished second there. But our boys and girls basketball teams also went to the state finals, and the boys brought home the gold. And it was just so exciting to see that run, and also to see the way the community in Lancaster County came around the teams and just supported them. We had people coming out to the games that really didn't know a lot about us, and they just got behind the kids in a way that was just so encouraging.
Love it. How does it feel as the head of school? You've seen these kids now. How long have you been at Linville?
So I've been there a decade now, a little over 10 years. Yeah.
So you've seen these kids grow up from elementary school to now graduate.
Yeah.
What's that feeling you have to see them now launch into the next phase of their life?
You know, standing there on the stage the other day as we awarded diplomas, I thought about these kids being in second, third, fourth grade, the things I would say to them when they came in the door off the bus in elementary school, and now looking at the young men and women of God that they become. Honestly, my heart just was so full of joy and just pleasure over them, just thinking about the way that they've grown and matured, and thinking about their family story too. You know, Fred, every family has a story, and what we love to do is come alongside those families and just really help mom and dad in a way that, you know, just supports what they're doing in the home. So just a lot of joy in my heart, particularly this time of year as we reflect on those recent grads.
Yeah, one of the things that you do with your high schoolers is internships. Yeah. Tell us about that.
Yeah, well, our tagline at school is Linville Hill, helping our students tell a better story. And really, our school's been around for a long time, 80 years this year.
Amazing.
So 1944. But for most of our years, we were just a K-8. In 2015, we started asking the question, what would it look like to have a high school? And out of that question came another question, which was, could we do a school that would have regular academic courses 4 days a week and then have a day set aside to do internships? And so what we discovered is we could do that. And so we built this program that each fall and each spring, our students are out at an internship for 13 weeks with a business or community partner, nonprofit, someone where they intern with a mentor for 13 weeks. They get a great taste of what that field is like, and they learn so much about what they want to do, what they don't want to do, what it takes to be successful. So it's just been an awesome program.
What are some of the internships? What are some of the businesses you're working with?
Literally everything. We've seen some in the medical field, places like Lancaster Cancer Center, but we've also seen videographers, photographers, any field that a student is interested in that we can find a partner in. So it's been beautiful. We started out wondering, would potential intern partners, would they step up and inconvenience themselves by giving 5.5 hours at least on a Friday for 13 weeks and bring a teenager into their world? The answer Lancaster County has provided is yes. We've now had over 400 local businesses that have provided at least one of those 13-week internships.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, that kind of pouring into your students is just wonderful. You've been there a long time. Yeah. You love what you do. What is it? If you could say it in 2 sentences, what do you love about being part of Linville Hill?
When you see a family bring a child to school, and you see in that family this desire to see that child unpack what God's put in them, and then you get to watch it happen, whether it's through the elementary classroom, through them growing through those what can be kind of funky middle school years, and then you see them flourish in high school, and as they're going out the door with a sense of, this is who God's made me to be. Yeah. That's what we just love.
Love that. If they want more info, they could check you out online, right?
LinvilleHill.org.
This morning, our very special guest, our friend Matt Buckwalter, is here, head of school at Linville Hill Christian School. We've been asking our guests to share their life verse. Do you have a life verse that you could share with us today?
Yeah, it really comes out of John 4, where Jesus meets with the woman at the well. And when his disciples come back, it says that they marveled that he spoke with a woman, yet no one asked, "What are you doing?" or "What do you seek?" And really what's in that for me is that so often we don't ask the right question, or we're perplexed by something we're encountering, and we don't take time to ask God. I think if the disciples had asked Jesus there something, they would have gotten some deeper revelation about what was happening. So I always want to be myself asking good questions of the Lord, and also encouraging young people to take your questions to God.
That's awesome. That's something you're doing at Linville Hill. Tell us about your school and what's happening there.
Yeah, well, God's doing some cool stuff. Our mission statement says that Linville Hill Christian School is a community of faith where students learn to think deeply about who God is as they discover their God-given purpose in preparation for a lifetime of service to the King. There's a lot in it, but at the core, we want kids to be thinking about who is God. In a culture, in a world that has really lost its way, we want to direct them back to God, take those big questions to God. So we're seeing God just do a lot of things. We've experienced a lot of growth in the last 10 years, and God's really done a lot of great things, drawn a lot of wonderful families to our school, and it's our joy to partner with them.
We talked last time about how internships are a big part of your senior life, but you just had a group graduate here on Friday. Yeah. And another thing you guys do is go to Kenya. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so each year we take our seniors to Kenya in the spring right before commencement, and it's sort of like the punctuation mark on their time at Linville Hill. And what we do when we go is we work with a children's home called Naomi's Village. It was founded by a surgeon from Texas and his wife who desired to create a space there for children in Kenya to receive just a deep level of care, education, counseling, so that they could grow up into what God's called them to be. So we go every year and we work with about 100 students at that children's home, and we get to see them grow and flourish. And each year we take our kids, I ponder, I go, I wonder which kids from Linville are going to connect with which kids from Naomi's Village, and the really resulting explosion that happens in encouragement of faith that goes both ways is just beautiful to watch.
You have a great story about when the bus rolls in and your kids are there and the kids are there. And they from Kenya, and they meet. Tell us about that.
Well, the anticipation has grown on both sides of this through the years. This is, again, the 7th year out of 8 that we've been there. So this year when we went, our students have been longing to meet the kids of Naomi's Village. The kids of Naomi's Village long for the Linville team to come each year. So as the students from Naomi's Village are pulling back in on the bus from school, our kids are waiting for them. They get off the bus, and though they've never met, they run towards each other and begin to introduce themselves. And there's this sense of expectation that though I haven't met you yet, I know that God has within you something that's going to really impact me. And it goes both ways. I think oftentimes on mission trips, we think we're going to go and give, or what our students have learned through the years is that I'm going to go and I'm going to serve, but I know I'm going to receive something about who God is through the children of Kenya.
I love that you go back year after year. Now that you've been doing it for all these years, what's the long-term relationships that you have with the kids that you serve?
Yeah, I think I could best illustrate it through a story. I remember in 2018, I met a young girl there named Millicent who was working through a lot of pain, that's really part of the story of many, many orphans in Kenya. And again, it's a big problem, somewhere between 900,000 to 2 million orphans in Kenya.
Wow.
And as I began to walk with her, trust began to form. So we would write letters, and she would share some of her journey. And I watched her work through some deep disappointment about losing her father and then eventually losing her mother. And just, is God good? Or how can God be good if that's happened? And I've watched her really find some great answers through that. She's now 8 years later. She's a student here in the U.S. She's studying to be a doctor. And this Christmas, she spent 2 weeks with our family, which was just a joy. So to see God move through the power of one life, it's beautiful to watch. And really, part of the reason we take our kids every year is we want our graduates to learn to move towards big problems. That's a God trait. And so when we take them to Kenya, we're showing them, look, here's a group of people who are moving towards a problem that could seem insurmountable. I mean, 2 million orphans, what are you actually going to do? Well, let's begin with one.
Yeah.
And so our kids go, they get to see that in action, and they come back just gripped and compelled to begin to live their lives moving towards big problems.
Love it. If folks are hearing what you're having to say today, say, I want to get more information about Linville.
Yeah.
How can my kids attend? What's the best thing for them to do?
Best thing to do is just reach out, linvillehill.org. They could email us at office@linvillehill.org. And again, we're enrolling at each level, elementary, middle, and high school. So we'd love to hear from folks.
Matt, love having you here. Great to see you again. Thank you so much for being here.
You're welcome, and thanks for what you guys are doing.
We invite you to linvillehill.org. Check it out. Get all the information.